The ties between the Dark Souls franchise and existentialist philosophy, specifically the works of Friedrich Nietzsche, are numerous. I'm sure you could search up the philosophy of Dark Souls on YouTube and find a million video essays comparing the two. And for good reason. Dark Souls is very clearly pulling on a number of concepts for its philosophical inspiration. The undead curse can be traced to Nietzsche's Eternal Return or Simone de Beauvoir's All Men Are Mortal. The brutally punishing difficulty can be linked to Heidegger's Being Towards Death, or a general reflection of the universe's indifference to our existence. The lack of direction to Sartre's Nausea, taking joy in repetition to Camus' Myth of Sisyphus. I could go on. But today I wanted to put together an analysis that I haven't seen anybody else do. I'm sure somebody has, but the internet is big and I can't see every piece of Dark Souls philosophy content, though I wish I could. My aim today is to link Nietzsche's 3 metamorphoses of the soul he lays out in the opening discourses of his seminal work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, to the path we find ourselves taking in the original Dark Souls. This will obviously contain spoilers for a 13-year-old game, so if you want to avoid that, I suggest you just mute the video and leave it playing on in the background whilst you complete the game, so I can still get the watch time. For quotes, I'm using the Thomas Common Project Gutenberg translation since it's free online, though I would recommend the Hollingdale translation available through Penguin Books. Also, this is a new style of video I'm thinking about introducing to the channel. Either weekly or bi-weekly, I'll upload a shorter essay, 15 minutes-ish, while I work on longer projects in the background. This way I'll be able to produce consistent content for you to watch, and I won't feel the need or pressure to rush the longer video essays I deeply care about, because I won't need to hit that 3-week upload schedule. Basically, it's like how I used to do Lamplight if you're a Unijoy OG, before I cast them into the pit of irrelevancy, but on a higher scale. I'll see how it goes and how well I can balance my time, so no promises yet. And if you finished this video and found that you enjoyed it or learnt something, maybe consider subscribing. And with all that preface out of the way, let us begin. As you may expect, the beginning of Dark Souls lands us at the first of Nietzsche's metamorphoses, this being the camel. Many heavy things are there for the spirit, the strong load-bearing spirit in which reverence dwelleth, for the heavy and the heaviest longeth in strength. What is heavy? So asketh the load-bearing spirit. Then kneeleth it down like the camel, and wanteth to be well laden. What is the heaviest thing, ye heroes? Asketh the load-bearing spirit, that I may take it upon me and rejoice in my strength. He then starts listing out a bunch of things I won't read for attention's sake. All these heaviest things the load-bearing spirit taketh upon itself, and like the camel, which when laden, so hasteneth the spirit into its wilderness. What Nietzsche is saying here is the camel takes upon the weight of society. They become the pack horse for the expectations society has for oneself, whether that be dedicating oneself to religion or to philosophy, adhering to social conventions, avoiding taboos. There is no freedom being realized here. Your life is defined for you by oughts. You ought to do this, you ought to do that. We see this presented in the very beginning of Dark Souls. Our character doesn't have agency over their decisions, nor do they question the motives behind what they're doing. When Oscar drops the body containing our cell key, we instinctively leave and follow his instructions when we next meet him. When we arrive in Firelink Shrine, we learn to ring the bells of awakening because the crestfallen knight told us to. We are merely the pack animal for the desires of others. We follow their word and keep our head down. I think this is really well reflected in the level design too. You're given this vast and interconnected area to explore, yet you don't. Unless it's your first playthrough and you don't know where you're going, nearly every playthrough has the exact same routing. You're given the greatest amount of freedom to explore, yet you deny yourself it. You could drain New Londo, kill the guy with the seal and fight the 4 kings right off the bat. Yes, it'd be unbearably hard, but you don't even try. We do this because it's easy. Well, easy at first. Inheriting your life with a pre-made destiny doesn't take much effort. Your life has already been defined and planned out for you centuries before you were born. All you need to do is follow it. Like how the myth of the chosen undead defines our path to escape the undead asylum and carry out the destiny of the lords, the myth is just as false as the lies we tell ourselves today. But this myth doesn't hold up completely. Many will have a grand moment of revelation where they see through the illusion. Some choose to bury their heads in the sand and ignore it, but for us and our undead, they take upon the challenge. But in the loneliest wilderness happeneth the second metamorphosis. Here the spirit becometh a lion, freedom it will capture, and lordship in its own wilderness. The next phase of metamorphosis is the lion, and I believe this change in Dark Souls is initiated by our first meeting with Frampt, the primordial serpent. It is last lord it here seeketh, hostile will it be to him, and to its last god, for victory, will it struggle with the great dragon. What is the great dragon which the spirit is no longer inclined to call lord and god? Thou shalt is the great dragon called, but the spirit of the lion saith I will. The values of 1,000 years glitter on those scales, and thus speaketh of the mightiest of all dragons. All the values of things glitter on me. All values have already been created, and all created values do I represent. Verily, there shall be no I will any more. Thus speaketh the dragon. My brethren, wherefore is the need of the lion in the spirit? Why sufficient not the beast of burden, which renounceth and is revenant? To create new values that even the lion cannot yet accomplish, but to create itself freedom for new creating, that can the might of the lion do. To create itself freedom, and give a holy nay even unto duty. For that, my brethren, there is need of the lion. To assume the right to new values, that is the most formidable assumption for a load-bearing and reverent spirit. Unto such a spirit is praying, and the work of a beast of prey. The lion is the rejection of the burdens the camel held. It is the denial of subservience to society's determinations. Every scale of the dragon holds a thou shalt, and each must be opposed by the might of the lion, transformed into an I will. This is where you take the first steps to become your own master, to overcome the world's expectations, and to recognize the fastness in their demands. I think the lion stage is the trickiest to pin down in Dark Souls, but I think I've put together a plausible explanation. When we meet Frampt, he tells us the true nature of our quest. We aren't following the lords like we first thought, but in fact we are ascending them. We stand in rejection of their plans, and on top of this is your first chance to start disobeying those who command you. You can disobey Frampt and kill the 4 kings before placing the Lord Vessel. This is where you can kill Gwendolyn and plunge Anolondo into darkness. But most importantly, this is where you can rebel against the lords, slaughtering them one by one. Though you are beginning to realize your potential and your freedom, you still aren't free. Through rejection, you merely become a sheep of the other flock. Society still controls your actions, as your will is a reflection of them turned inversely. You aren't choosing your own fate, you are merely standing in opposition. And so Nietzsche calls upon us for our final metamorphosis, this being the child. But tell me, my brethren, what can the child do which even the lion could not do? Why hath the praying lion still to become a child? Innocence is the child, and forgetfulness. A new beginning, a game, a self-rolling wheel, a first movement, a holy yea. Aye, for the game of creating, my brethren, there is needed a holy yea unto life. Its own will willeth now the spirit, his own world winneth the world's outcast. 3 metamorphoses of the spirit have I designated to you, how the spirit became a camel, the camel a lion, and the lion at last a child. The final stage is the one we see the least during our playthrough, yet it's the one that holds the most weight in terms of story and development. Once Gwyn has been killed, you can choose between rekindling the fire or beginning the Age of Dark. For our purposes, we'll be choosing the Age of Darkness, as rekindling the flame kind of throws a wrench in my whole analysis. But beginning the Age of Darkness is the path of the child. The child doesn't know nor entirely care about the state of the world. It gives an innocent perspective to build something new. The child can make new values and can, in a similar way, creating this new Age of Darkness, open a whole door of opportunities for freedom. The child gives the holy yes to seize their life. They aren't weighed down with the burden of dead generations like the camel, nor are they chained to rebellion like the lion. They are radically free. And for our chosen undead, they aren't carrying out the will of the lords, nor are they rekindling the first flame to succeed Gwyn himself. They are in a place of complete transcendence from the first world. They are in a place of complete transcendence from the world, figuratively and literally ending that epoch of time. I think there's great thematic relevance between the starting of a new world and Nietzsche's child. The new world has been born, it has the childlike creativity and curiosity that a baby has. There's near limitless opportunities at the fingertips for the age of darkness to achieve, the age where man can take their true shape and can be free from death. Like the child whose life has just begun, a new beginning and a fresh start. That is what the child brings and ends the metamorphosis. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed. Though this is shorter than my usual content, I'm still working on the Outer Wilds video in the background, and it's maybe my best video yet. Trying out a new editing style, so it will take a while. Anyways, 10K 2025, you have been entertained.